Josh and Abbey have a few words to share with us.
I've heard a lot of people speak about Jeremy and how much he was an inspiration to them, greatly respected, dedicated to his wife and kids, and his humble demeanor when it came to his successes. As his brother, I was fortunate enough to not only see all of these attributes and qualities within him, but I got to watch him grow into this person. As kids, my brother always had an outgoing personality, never hesitated to be a character or be in the spotlight. He was basically fearless in everything he chose to do. He was never troubled by the thought of embarrassment or what someone may think. I see the same quality in his kids today. As we got into our teen years, we definitely took different paths in how we decided to do things. I was always thinking about the consequences of any decision, and Jeremy just did what felt right to him in the moment. Once we hit high school, my brother and I couldn't be more different. He was part of the cool kid crowd, and I was most definitely not. I was worried about the man he would become, and in many situations, I simply resigned to the idea that nothing would change him. Eventually, some of his decisions caught up to him, and he had to take responsibility for that. He definitely did not want to, but he wisely listened to those close to him, one of the rare times in his younger years. This is the time to me where my brother began to transition into the man most of you met and only knew of. With two of the closest people to him at that time in his life, Heidi and Greg, being by his side and speaking sense to him, in my mind, they saved my brother's life. Throughout our teen years, we were not super close, but when we were in our early 20s, finally had something in common that got us hanging out like brothers, and it was music, more specifically DJing and electronic music. I was living in Rockford in the early 2000s, and he had come up to visit to go to a rave with my friends and I. We danced, we had drinks, listened to music all night, and that was it. We were finally brothers. We even randomly ran into each other once at a rave in Chicago and didn't know that the other was going. Or randomly in a crowd of over 5,000 people, we just crossed paths. From then on, it was one of the drastic, as if all of the drastic differences in our childhood never even existed, except when he just had to be a St. Louis Cardinals fan, which I still believe he only chose because of Abbey. But that definitely made things adventurous in its own right, as an usher once thought we were about to fight out in the bleachers of Wrigley, and then thought we were lying about being brothers so that I wouldn't be kicked out. I will never forget when he called to tell me he was going to be a father. This was one of the single most desired things he wanted in life. He always wanted to have a family, and this was that start for him. As the years went on, the only thing that changed for Jeremy was his growing success. He and Abbey finding love, the births of Sebastian, Genevieve, and Augie, his constant pride in everything the kids did and encouragement to do whatever they desired, his almost never-ending advancement in his work, most recently coming back to Caterpillar to be the facility manager of the Mapleton plant, where he began his career with Cat nearly 20 years ago as a permanent laborer in the foundry. So many were looking forward to having him back in the Peoria area, including myself. I often and will surely continue to brag about my brother, everything he achieved, everything he overcame, his dedication to Abbey, Sedona, Sebastian, Genevieve, and Augie, and how humbled he constantly remained despite having so much in life. There is no doubt I was proud of him in every possible way. Jeremy, you were a son, a brother, a husband, and a dad. You were and will always continue to be an inspiration to me. You are the most stubborn, dedicated, hardworking, loving, giving, and humbled person that I've had the privilege of calling my brother. I love you and I will miss you.
I know it's not customary for the wife to do a eulogy, but we were always a team. So we're doing this together today. Jeremy was exceptional. He was an exceptional human being. He was an exceptional leader. He was an exceptional father. He was an exceptional husband. Everything he did, he put his best effort into. He loved to learn. He loved to grow. And I'm not just talking about his muscles. He was a great motivator and cheerleader. I've had countless messages over the past week from people that I don't know telling me how much Jeremy impacted their life. In fact, there was a general theme to them. It would start out as, I was just this at CAT, or I was just this at Amazon, and Jeremy encouraged me to do X, Y, and Z, and now I'm far beyond what I ever thought possible. And that's the thing about Jeremy. You were never just somebody to him. He saw everyone as their greatest potential and treated them with dignity and respect. He had such a strong character. He was humble, but he did everything with effortless confidence. He was loyal and had an immense amount of integrity. He was so incredibly loving and protective. He lived to serve his family. He would work long hours all week and then let me sleep on Saturday. I'd wake up and he'd be making everyone breakfast and cleaning the kitchen. If I was feeling overwhelmed, he would swoop in and do everything in his power to help me. Family was everything to him, and he was everything to us. I guess that's why this is so hard. My brain is having a hard time wrapping my head around this. How this could happen? He was our foundation, and now he's gone. I feel like I should be mad or bitter, but I'm not. I may be in the trenches of sadness, but at the end of the day, I'm eternally grateful. I'm grateful for every single second that we had with him. This man changed my life. He made me a mother. He made me a wife. He showed me what true love is. And I'm not talking about fairy tale love. I'm talking about the kind of love that is steady and constant, the kind of love that is selfless, the kind of love that is boundless and forgiving, the kind of love that is always willing to grow, the kind of love that is eternal. They say that everything happens for a reason, and I believe that. In this situation, you have to believe that God has a plan. At least I do. It's too painful otherwise. But let me tell you something. Jeremy has tapped me on the shoulder so many times this week. And I have to go off script here because something happened today that I want to share. After we were married, my Aunt Diana, she sent us this picture, and it was a hand-painted picture with the date of our marriage. But it actually had the day before we were married. And she offered to have it changed the right day, but we said, no, we want to keep it like this because it made us laugh, and it also reminded us that our anniversary was the next day. We walked in today, and I picked up a program, and they have the date of his death as the day before he actually died. And I immediately knew he was winking at me. Like immediately, this wasn't just a silly mistake, it was him. And I'm so grateful. He has told me so many times in so many ways this week that it's going to be okay, that we are making the right choices, but most importantly, that he's not really gone. He is here. He's still taking care of us. He's still loving us. He's still guiding us, still serving us. I feel that. I've had signs that made me laugh, but mostly they make me cry because it's pretty incredible that he's still so present. And my faith tells me that we will see him again, and it will be beyond anything I could imagine. But until then, we wait patiently, and we stay the course, and we live our lives well. In his last hours, Jeremy was surrounded by the people who helped bring him into this world, by the people he helped bring into this world, and the people who were his world. We took turns singing him songs, telling him what was on our hearts, kissing him and squeezing his hands. It was beautiful agony, and I can't be sure. I can't know for sure if he heard all of us and what we were sharing with our love for him, but I'm choosing to believe that he did. but I am absolutely sure of the last thing you heard me say when he was still awake, days before. And the kids and I have been saying it to one another every day since. I love you. I'm proud of you. I think you're terrific. And I'm glad you're mine forever and ever and ever.